Pantheon AI presents Game Theory by Giacomo Bonanno. All right, so today we're diving into something super fascinating, game theory, specifically based on Giacomo Bonanno's insights. It's one of those topics that sounds really academic, but once you break it down, it's incredibly practical.
Oh, I'm excited about this, John. I mean, game theory often conjures images of complex equations or chess masters, but it's really about understanding decision-making, isn't it?
Exactly, and Bonanno's work really distills it. Let's start with the very first core idea, strategic representation. Basically, any strategic situation you can think of can be modeled as a game.
So whether it's a negotiation, a conflict, even just deciding what to have for dinner with your partner, you're saying that's a game?
Pretty much. The purpose of doing that, of modeling it, is to help identify incentives, predict behavior, and ultimately design better interactions. Think about it in terms of markets, politics, even collaborations at work. It gives you clarity on how each player's actions influence the whole system.
That makes so much sense. It's like having a blueprint for human interaction. So once you've got your game modeled, what's next? Because people don't always act rationally, right?
That's where the next big concept comes in, dominance and rational elimination. This is about pruning out the inferior strategies. Bonanno talks about strict versus weak dominance, and then iterated deletion.
Iterated deletion? Sounds intense. What does that mean in practice?
It just means you systematically remove irrational choices. The key insight here is that being rational isn't just about guessing what others might do. It's about eliminating the nonsense, getting rid of clearly bad options step by step. It narrows down the possibilities significantly.
So it's less about predicting the perfect move and more about getting rid of the obviously wrong ones. I like that. It feels more actionable. Which brings us to, arguably, the most famous concept in game theory, Nash equilibrium.
Absolutely, the core of strategic balance. A Nash equilibrium is a situation where no player can benefit by unilaterally changing their strategy. It's this stable outcome where everyone's incentives, given what everyone else is doing, kind of align.
So if I'm in a Nash equilibrium and I decide to change my strategy while everyone else sticks to theirs, I'd be worse off?
Exactly, and that's why it matters so much in the real world. Markets, pricing strategies, even team decisions or international diplomacy. It helps predict where things might settle.
Fascinating. Now, what about when you want to asterisk design a system to encourage certain behavior? Like, how do you make people tell the truth, for example?
That's where incentive-compatible mechanisms come in. The goal is to design rules so that truth-telling is actually the best strategy for everyone involved. Think about things like second price auctions, where bidding your true valuation is the optimal strategy, or the Clark mechanism in public policy.
Oh, so it's like engineering honesty into the system? That's powerful, especially for things like auctions or even public goods provision where fairness is key.
Right. And speaking of fairness and complexity, we have to talk about beliefs, knowledge, and uncertainty. In the real world, people have different information, different beliefs. It's not a perfectly clear picture.
Definitely not. So how do you model that? How do you account for imperfect information?
You use tools like Bayesian reasoning, and you model common knowledge. It helps you understand and predict behavior even in uncertain or ambiguous situations. It's about trying to factor in what people think, others know, or think.
That makes sense. It's like, I know that you know that I know, that sort of thing. But then there's always the human element, right? Like rationality and its limits.
Absolutely. This is the paradox Bonanno highlights. Rational individual choices can sometimes lead to totally irrational or suboptimal group outcomes. The classic example is the prisoner's dilemma.
Oh, that's the one where if both prisoners act in their own best interest, they both end up worse off than if they'd cooperated, right? It's a frustrating but very real scenario.
Exactly. So the lesson there is to actively seek ways to align individual goals with the collective benefit, and the tools for that are crucial. Communication, building reputation, establishing social norms, and smart institutional design.
So game theory isn't just about predicting outcomes, it's about asterisk designing some better systems and interactions. That's the real takeaway for me.
That's it in a nutshell, Sarah. It reveals how structure, incentives, beliefs, and even our own rationality shape everything. It's not just about anticipating moves. It's about actively designing better systems, making better decisions, and fostering better behaviors in a world where we're all interconnected.
What a powerful framework. I feel like I can apply this to so many aspects of life now. Thanks, John.
My pleasure. It really is a game changer. Pun intended.
Pantheon AI, your information co-pilot.
because learning shouldn't feel like a full-time job. Take care and see you next time.